Hey everyone, it's me 2-for-1 Cupcake Lover, and I'm back with another video. So today in today's video, I'm going to talk about me getting my first tattoo. And how, what started this up, the experience, the healing process, what I used, all that. And, this is for people who plan on getting a tattoo for the first time. So let's get started. So I got my first tattoo back in November of 2015. And I had thought about this for about 2 years because at the time when I really wanted to get my first tattoo, I was about 19 or 20 years old. Almost went through with it. It was going to be with someone who, and they were going to do it in their home. And I was like, this is a really stupid, bad idea because at the time I was living with my father. So I had been thinking about this for a few years. And at this time, of November, I was going to be with my mom. She lives all the way in Texas. And so she had just recently got a major surgery done and she needed help. And I was thinking, this is the perfect time to get my first tattoo. So she was down with it. We set up a reservation with the tattoo artist, Miles. I have the card, and it was actually done at Dandyland in San Antonio, Texas. Just letting you know the deposit is $80, the first deposit. But, so I actually looked at his portfolio and I was like, oh, I like his style. I'm going to go with him. And plus, he was available on the day that we wanted to get done. So the next day, I went in to talk with him about, what tattoo I wanted. And at first I was like, oh, I want a realistic tattoo. And he's like, that's not my style. Unfortunately, if you want that done, I suggest this artist. But unfortunately, he's booked for long time. And I was like, I'm not going to be here that long. I'm only going to be here for a few days. So here, let's do this. I will pick, I want a tattoo of Jack and Sally, but we'll do it with your style. So he's like, okay, here's the deal. Pick some pictures of what you want, email it to me, and I'll pick one that suits my style and I will draw it up for you. I said, okay, cool. So I picked a few pictures, a few art pieces, and I was like, here you go. This is the idea that I want. And then flash forward, we picked a day, which was Thursday the 12th at 4:30 p.m. I was scared. I was actually really, really scared that day. I couldn't eat anything. I had a bit of a panic attack. Mind you, if you have anxiety, you may go through what I went through. I couldn't eat anything that day. I could barely put anything on my stomach. I could not stop shaking. I was heavy breathing. I was hyperventilating. I was trying to keep calm, and it was so difficult. My mom was trying to keep me calm, and it wasn't helping. So, fast forwarding, it's getting close to the time for my appointment, so we start heading to the appointment. I am petrified. I am scared. I am trying to keep calm. I am very quiet on this car ride, and right before we pull into the parking lot, my mom is like, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? And I just turned to her with such confidence, even though regardless of the fact I was scared out of my mind, I said with confidence, yes, I want to get it done now. I want to go through with this. I have been waiting over 2 years to get this done. I want to do it. I'm going through with this, no matter how scared I am. So she said, okay, let's do this then. Pull into the parking lot. We get in. We sit in the lobby, and he shows me the art, which ended up being this. And I was like, yes, that's perfect. And so he places it on here. He placed it a little higher than I wanted, but and she was like, oh, are you sure you want it there? And I was like, why? And she's like, because it's gonna be, the shoulder part's gonna be painful because it's bony. And I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna have to endure it. It's fine. And she's like, okay. And so we go in to the room. He's getting everything set up, and then they called me back up to the front. I had to sign some waivers in a form saying that I agree for them to put ink in my skin, and then I went back in the room, and my mom explained to him, because Miles is a very cool tattoo artist. If you ever in San Antonio and you go to Dandyland, I highly recommend Miles. He's a very cool guy. He's very cool with first timers. From what I experienced, he was very understanding that yes, I was very scared, and so he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do one little line, and then we'll see how you feel after. So he starts doing it. He does one little line, and then he asks me, how did it feel? And I was like, that barely hurt. So after that, he's like, okay, do you want me to keep going? I'm like, yeah, keep going. And so he went at it. My mother was right, for one thing. Up here hurt. That was the most painful part of getting this tattoo, because there's no cushion there. So I recommend to some of you, if you don't have a really high pain tolerance, I wouldn't suggest getting your first tattoo on a very bony area. I highly suggest getting it on like a cushiony area or a very squishy, fatty area. Like up here, right here is a good area because it's fatty. Or on your thighs is good area too. Just someplace that has cushion. If there's no cushion there, it's gonna hurt a lot. So just letting you know right now, from my perspective, it took about 3.5 hours to get this tattoo done because of the size. Letting you know, if you decide to get a huge one, you may have to do that in parts. The tattoo artist may come up to you and say, we're gonna have to do another session, because the tattoo is so big. Like, do not to you guys who are getting your first tattoo, I highly recommend, do not get a huge tattoo, because that is going to take a long time. Unless you really, really want that to take that much time and spend that much money, go all for it. However, I highly suggest getting this is a good size tattoo in my opinion. It's not too small, but it's not too big. And if you don't want to spend too much time in the chair, I highly recommend not such a huge tattoo, like a full-on back tattoo. That's more for, in my opinion, more for more experienced customers, or more experienced people who have gotten tattoos. But that's just me. So after that, we went home. So the healing process took about, for me, it took about 3.5 weeks. To some people, it may take longer. It depends on your skin. It also depends on your skin at if your skin rejects ink. And if that's the case, you may not be able to get tattoos. You may not. I'm not trying to say, oh, you can never get tattoos. I'm just saying, because of your skin, and if it starts rejecting the ink, it could mess up your tattoo. It could cause it to fade. It could cause missing spots. Your skin just basically does not like you getting tattoos. So you may not be able to get tattoos. You maybe. It just depends on how your skin reacts to the ink. I was lucky enough to not have my skin reject the ink and not have any spots missing on my tattoo. So I'm very happy about that. I They usually suggest you use I can't remember what it's called, but you use the special little treatment for the first 2 days, 2 or 3 days. I think it was two. To just use it on there to help with the healing process before it starts scabbing, because that will happen. And you need to make sure you wash your tattoo at least 2 or 3 times a day. At least 2. Do not just do like one wash and that's it. No. You need to keep doing this while your tattoo is still healing, because you need to get rid of any dirt, and it could cause infections if you're not careful. Because remember, your tattoo is actually an open wound. It is basically an open wound. So you need to keep cleaning it. Regardless if it scabs, you still need to keep cleaning it because it's healing. It's an open wound. It's still healing. At that point, you can stop using little treatment after, I think, the second day, and then you start using a non-scented I want to say moisturizing. I used a little ointment. I don't want to say lotion. It's basically an ointment. It's called Aveeno, and it's non-scented. They suggested something else, but we could not find it at the store we were at, so we just got Aveeno because my mom says it's just as good. And I use that. You just keep using it. You apply it every time, and every time after you wash your tattoo. So keep doing it, and it will start scabbing, and it will itch. It will itch a lot, and you will want to scratch it. But I highly recommend you do not scratch it. Do not scratch it, because if you scratch it, you will cause the scabs to come off, and there goes your ink, and it could cause spotting. It can cause spotting on your tattoo, and it basically pulls out the ink out of your skin, and it could mess up your tattoo completely. So try to endure the itching. If the itching really is bothering you, I have been told that you pat. Do not scratch. Pat. Just like pat. I sometimes would smack it, which I don't recommend you do that, but the itching was so bad I had to smack, and it helped, and then it hurt a little bit. So don't smack it, just like pat it. The itching will go away. It helps, but it will go away eventually, and then you have your beautiful tattoo. But be careful of scabs. Let them fall off on their own. Make sure you don't wear anything that could rub your tattoo and cause the scabs to pull out. Because again, it will cause spotting on your tattoo. But yeah, that was my whole experience. Again, I forgot to mention this. Everybody's pain tolerance is different. Mine happened to be a very high pain tolerance. My pain tolerance happened to build up after a few years. So I have a semi-high pain tolerance, so I can handle this. But again, it's going to be different for everybody. Not everybody's going to have the same pain tolerance as me. So, but still don't be, afraid to go get a tattoo. There's nothing wrong with getting a tattoo. If you want a tattoo, go get it. Go get one done if you can. If you're old enough as well. But otherwise, it also is very expensive. Mine was about $200 and something, almost $300. Yeah, so it also depends on the artist as well, because some artists, they will charge you per hour. So Mine happened to be nice, and say it was like 200 something. So not too bad, but the deposit also was included, so it was roughly a little over $300 for this tattoo. And mind you, if you decide to get a full body one, that's gonna be real expensive. Just letting you know. Again, tattoos are really, really expensive. So if you want a tattoo and you don't really have the money, I highly suggest just start saving up. I did have like this sort of saving method where I put aside, because I can afford to, put aside like $50 each week when I get my paycheck. And it starts adding up. It really does. It starts adding up, and soon you'll have enough money to go get a tattoo. But again, you also have to think about the fact that you need to make a down deposit the first time, so you can clarify, yes, I am paying for this appointment. This is just for paying for the appointment, setting it up. Then when it comes to getting the tattoo, then you're paying for the rest of it. Basically, it's kind of like, paying the first bit and then paying for the rest after you get the product. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys learned something from this. Hope it inspires you, and I hope it helps you in getting your first tattoo. So alright, I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye.